Hey guys, George here. Nothing special today. I'm just going to make a video about a scenario setup file, and I'm doing it in VASL, of course. And what you see here is my attempt at making my own HTML turn track record because I'm sick and tired of freeloading off of Neil Ewan's chart. Now it doesn't look any close any much better than it doesn't look as good as Neil Ewan's chart, but it's a start. I'm going to put some thoughts on graph paper and then make it better. It's a start. It's a 10-turn scenario, and the scenario is U27, a winter melee, and I'm doing the starter file. So I'm going to start with the Russians because the Russians appear first, and the Russians have quite a few partisan units. So we're going to click on our counter tray. Is it already open? Takes some time to open. But in the meantime, I'm going to make some labels. So the partisans, and then we'll have uh, the 204th Parachute Brigade, and then the 11th Cavalry Regiment. I'm going to put the Russians there, and we're going to put a label for the team symbol. It could be a Soviet star. And then what you got is just a few Germans. Oh, wow. Just a few Germans from ad hoc recon elements of Panzer Regiment 1 ELR 4. And I had a space up here for the ELR. ELR for the Russians is 5 and 3. 3 for the parachutists, 5 for the partisans, and 3 for the cavalry. And then here, the German ELR is 4. Usually I also mark that on the counter. So where's my counter tray? Gotta click that again and see what happens. Click. Here it comes. All right, got the counters out. We're going to start with the Soviet OB. And usually what I do first is I put a little star in the sand. You can't see that, can you? Oh well, let's make it bigger. Oh. So I put a little star to designate that's the Soviet side. I'm going to make a little label and put there a little morale booster, and then align things so all the OB is in order. So I'm clicking down on Shift and then left click on my mouse and bring the labels in order. Then I go to my counter tray, which is this thing over here, and start picking my units. Bring this guy over. Unlock, Shift, at cap locks, there. Okay, so the partisans, there's about 10 of them. You got to be careful because the partisan squads look a bit different. There are 337s. There they are. And there's 10 of them, so you can put down one. Shift this a little bit over. Since there's 10 of them, you can clone them by pressing Control K. 2, 3, 4, 5. And select the whole stack again, and you got another 5 for a total of 10. You get a 9-1 SMC, but the SMC is a partisan. All right. A 9-1 and a 8-0. Partisans are quite special. Move this label over a little bit. Make some space. We got some support weapons, 2 LMGs. 1 and 2. And an ATR. Nice. One little ATR. And ATRs can immobilize units. Russian ATRs are pretty good. Um, However, the German half tracks only have one armor. So we're going to name these guys here. We're going to name him Ivanov, because I just thought of the name. And over here we have Petrov. Be careful only to select one. There you go. And now we're going to have the paratroopers. But here what we could do is enter a little HTML command. And it doesn't work in any case. Partisans, we want that bold. So we'll put a bold tag. Partisans, ELR5. And then the bold is tagged off. But it won't work in any case. Set up on board 5. And SAN is 5. That's a good SAN number. Now we want to close the HTML tag. HTML. Oops. That kind of makes everything kind of neat. But the bold does not seem to want to work. Erase that. Go like that. And let's transpose things here. This was meant to be here. Oops. I don't know why it does that. And the other fellow is here. So we got these guys positioned well. And the other thing that I need to point to your attention is that there is ground snow. And I have eliminated the wheat fields, because usually there's a wheat field around here. It's not in season. So since I forgot the ground snow, what I can do is go here, select that, and that will bring up a menu. And all you got to do really is terrain SSR. I'll give you this menu, and then it can say weather, no snow. You can say ground snow, and then apply, and your board turns to white. Okay, and say done, say okay, and then it'll turn to white. If you like the green, it's all fine and dandy, but this is a strong reminder that you have ground snow. And as for ground snow, I think there's only an additional movement factor if you're changing elevations outside of a building. That's in chapter E as an echo, ground snow. For the purposes of mud and deep snow only open ground includes all unpaved or unplowed roads, gullies. Falling snow? That ain't good. Ground snow. During ground snow, ECs are wet. Deep snow, extreme winter also apply, uh, unless are wet, unless deep snow, extreme winter also apply. The winter camouflage provisions of falling snow also apply to ground snow. And now how about infantry cavalry movement? During ground snow, all infantry cavalry must expend 1 extra MF per elevation level, up, down, unless using a stairwell or plowed road. Road bonus is not applicable unless using a plowed road. In vehicular movement, the minimum road entry MP is 1, not a half. All tracked vehicles must expend 1 extra MP per hexside crossed by a bypass. Both effects apply even on plowed roads. So now the half tracks, instead of having 16 movement factors, they actually have 8. Oh well, uh, we may have overlooked that in the past in playing this scenario. All right, so now we're going to put in the paratroopers here. I'm going to put a label, and I start with a little HTML tag, and here I put elements of 204th Parachute Brigade and Battalion, a little BR, because that's where it breaks in the actual game. Strength, ELR 5, no 3. Enter on turn, capital T, turn 2, 3, or 4 by airdrop. That's an SSR. I usually like to drop them right on top of the village because, as my son likes to say it, because why not? Because why not? Airdrop. Echo 9. Stu's favorite chapter, I think. See? SSR 5. And closing tag HTML. Let's see what that gives us. Ooh, nice. It removes line 2. Say OK. Click somewhere else. Now we can get the 26 to 8s. That's funny. 6 to 8s. Just E for elite. So we'll put 5 groups of 5. And that's usually what constitutes a stick. So 3, 4, 5, and then that's 5, 10, and doing Control K to clone them. That's 20 right there. And single man counters, we get a 10 minus 2. I was a bit shocked, but I should know. Soviet. 10 minus 2. And a 9 minus 1. So here we have Popov and Ozipov. And 3 LMGs. 1, 2, and 3. Now we'd like to add a couple of parachutes, air, large and small. One of each will do for now. And then we can clone some and change their label. Use the cloaking counter. Okay, that's that for them. Right, and now we're going to put the cavalry. And for our cavalry, oh, there they are. Little horsies. Support weapons white. And there are support weapons counter tray. We got 12 of those babies, so we're going to clone and clone. That's 4, 8, and 12. And we need what we used to call in basic squad leader or cross of iron cavalry units, but you need 12 of those guys. But here, anybody can ride a horse. Anybody could be considered cavalry. A Cossack, I suppose. 4, just clone and clone again. Pretty quick. And now we got another 2 leaders, which is really strange. Usually, the Russian side is not afforded too many leaders, or good leaders for that matter. Um, and that's a 9-1 and an 8-0. I got my Discord open and I'm on a channel, so if anybody joins me, we'll have a conversation and probably talk. But if nobody joins, it is what it is. We're going to have a Dotsky because I feel like having a Dotsky. And we're going to have a Molotov. Somebody was named Molotov, like the Molotov cocktail. Molotov. Molotov. Not a label name. Control X. So okay. And here, Control V. I name these guys. Oh, these guys are the 11th Cavalry Regiment. Label? I suppose. Okay. Little HTML tag again, and then elements of 11th Cavalry Regiment, ELR 3, enter, BR for uh, carriage brake, mounted on turn 1 along the south edge. See SSR 8. I won't tell you what that SSR is, but it's worth reading if you're going to play this scenario as the Russian player. I think they did something to give the Russians a bit of an edge, um, because they have to run out in the open. And don't forget to close your HTML tag. So, and then here, line 2, get rid of that. It's okay. And just center this a little bit. That's working out fine. You guys can see everything. You can remove all the moves by clicking a little button up on top. It says MOV. This looks pretty neat. So far so good, and you want to do an incremental save so you don't lose anything. File save game. Yep. Okay. Now, what do we have this thing here for? Well, usually what I do is put a little morale tag there. But the problem with the Soviets, I find, is that they don't have any shoulder patches, that I know of at least. If anybody knows where I can find a list of um, the Soviet um, division albums, let me know. Let's see what we got here. We're going to put something generic. We have anything generic? Oh, we got the guards order. I'll do. Now let's put something easy breezy. Yeah, Control C. And label, Control V. Say OK. That's a bit too big. So what we're going to do is go back to label and put that as 159, reduce it by 100, and 199. And say okay. That's bearable. A little morale patch. And usually the other thing I'd like to do is indicate the sand number here. And I like the sand to be, some people like, um, what do they do to the sand? They go like this and they kind of make it hidden. I don't usually like to do that. All right, increase, and that's a sand of 5. And here, what I like to do on top is put label ELR 5/3. So, okay. Just as a little reminder. Now, the fun part comes with the uh, Germans. First SS Panzer Division? No. They're just ad hoc Panzer Regiment 1. I'll take a look and see if I can find a album for Panzer Regiment 1. Well, uh, this is probably not it. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, let's see what we can do. Go label and then put here HTML and then oops, got to be careful with your syntax. Uh, AMG, IMG, SRC equals, and put in that, close it, and then at the end we should put, uh, let's put a width statement, width equals 105, height equals 105, and then close it up and put here closing bracket HTML and like that. Okay, let's see what that renders. Not too shabby. I think we gotta increase it a little bit. Let's see what the aspect ratio is on this one. Um, more details. Let's see if we can have a size that fits everything. 51 by 76 pixels is great. So we can correct that aspect ratio. 51 here, 76 there. We got, it's the 1st Panzer Division, Oak. Oh well, not a Panzer Regiment. So which division does the Panzer Regiment belong to? Che caso sta, as the Italians say. What do you want me to do about it? Okay, that is the album that we found. That's the album we'll work with. And now it's a little morale patch. What can you do? Let's go here and turn to the axes. Where are my other? Well, we can clone this one and put it there. And then instead of putting that statement there, we'll be putting the Germans units. What did I press cap locks for? Here, shift there. And the OB for the Germans is pretty straightforward. Pretty straightforward. Maybe I'll give you a couple of thoughts on uh, what's going on with this scenario. It's really interesting. Really interesting. I'd like to play it again using the ASL rules as opposed to the COI rules, because there's a lot of twists in this game. So again, we just have a little turn marker here, and here the ELR is 4, so I can put label ELR 4, say OK, and then just increase the sniper to 3. Increase, increase, increase. Good stuff. And now, like I said before, the OB is pretty simple. The traditional 4-6-8s, 4-6-7s. 4-6-7s, I clone, that's 3, 2, 3, and 4. And we need 3 groups of those. So clone and clone again. Yeah, better, better what? Better uh, leadership and weaponry. So you have a 9-2. The 9-2 traditionally I call him Stahler. So name, Stahler. There he is. 9-1, we'll call him Mueller. Or we'll better call him Wool. There's a Wool. 2 8-1 leaders. So that's going to be Schwartz. Name, Schwartz. What the heck did I just do? Come on, Schwartz. Or Schwartz. Where's the R? Schwartz. There you go. And Mueller. There you go. We got those guys. Now they got some excellent support weapons. We got a heavy 716. We got an MG. And we got 4 LMGs. Control K. Oops. Cancel that. Control K. There's your 4 LMGs, and they have 3 half tracks. So vehicular SPW 251-1. (251/1) has a T7 number, 3 aerial. Here it is. Okay. 3 of them. So here now, all we got to do is go here and put HTML ad hoc elements of Panzer Regiment 1 ELR of 4 and set up on board 3 and SAN 3. Closing tag for your HTML. That's like so. And you say OK. And remove line 2 for aesthetic purposes. Boink. And let's do an incremental save. There you go. And I'm going to zoom out, see if you guys can see what I created here. Let's zoom out. So here's more or less the final product. Let's give it a little bit of a boost here. So you can, I know the Soviet memento here is larger than the uh, German, but just the same, you know where everything belongs. And the Russian player will be coming in along this side. Of course, this building being level 2, you see the staircase there. Usually the German player sets up the heavy over there, but the heavy cannot swing around. So during defensive fire phase, they'll have to choose one side or the other to fire. So either on this side of the board or the other side of the board. And alternatively, you can put one machine gun facing this way, the medium, and the heavy in this direction, or vice versa, depending on how he sets up off the board. And it's the Russian that sets up first, and it's the German that moves first. Wow, wow, wow. Anyway, the other thing that you need to do is go to your info section, and here, make sure um, it's the Axis that moves first, okay? Sometimes it's the Allied, so you got to change it when it's proper to change it. ELR is 4, and to get your reminders of any sand checks, you put here in this box 3, and Allied sand is a 5, and here the ELR is 5 and 3. Save it, and save the game as well for good measure. And there you have it. That's how the scenario is set up. So, yeah, um, since I did save it, keep saving, I'm so paranoid. Since I did save it, um, what I recommend is half tracks. Here's one, and here's another. Their facing doesn't matter because the AA gun is circular. It's not their main armament. Now, the only thing you really need to worry about here is um, these rascals approaching you with an ATR, if they're one ATR, or even with the LMG. They can hit you either with their inherent firepower or on a two-hit table with the LMG and try to eliminate you. Um, of course, you're going to stack at least a squad and an LMG in each half track. As passengers of the half track. You'll put one there. I'm not too sure if they can be concealed. One here. And the AA guns serve to repel these guys or really harm them. The HMG, typically everybody stacks them with Stahler. Up on the second level. I'm not going to pull out a second level counter. You can use your imagination. Um, 9-1 with an MMG, typically supporting Stahler. Second level again. Eventually, you will have to worry about encirclement. And the other folks, Your immediate threat um, will be to your north, I believe. Um, However, that's a big however. Stack him here. He has line of sights down this way and down that way. Um, you want to form a perimeter around the village, I suppose. Um, don't let these guys get close to your half track. His covered arc is not limited to one direction or another. But getting rate um, getting rate on LMG is pretty hard. The other thing you can do is even actually set up Stahler here, and since it's the Germans that move first, during your prep fire phase, you can try to entrench, and that's something to think about. I never thought of it before, but from up there, he'll be able to cover this part of the board here, but this part of the board will be filled with blind hexes, and experienced players that play this scenario are great at advancing uh, their cavalry up in such a way that they avoid being seen. And ultimately, the big action takes place around here. Anywho, those are my 2 cents. I'm pretty sure that there's a lot more to it than that in this scenario. Um, hey, it's a 38 minute video, and that's pretty good. Uh, Nobody joined me in Discord, but it's Saturday night. It's probably date night for a lot of people. So what can you do? My sons are off either working or playing their sports, tag football these days, and I'm home alone. Yeah. Anywho, guys, take care, and hope to see you next week with another great video. I think I enjoyed doing this. Um, did I give you all the information on the scenario card? No. Did I give you a couple of thoughts? Yes. Are they useful? I hope so. There's more than one way to skin the cat when it comes to playing the scenario, either as the German or as the uh, uh, Russian. And it's never the same game twice. This is a classic. So look into it. Take care and be well.